So okay, I'm coming. We are moving soon. Formulas, like I said, there are different formulas and function in Excel. And the first thing you must know is that for you to work with formulas and function on Excel, you must initiate it with what we call equal sign. You must start with equal sign. Now let's start with formulas. Formulas are arithmetic equations designed by you. That is it. Formulas, they are arithmetic equations designed by you. That means you are the one that creates it. You created that sign. And we have examples are addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Those are examples of formulas. Now, when you are talking about functions, functions are predefined or inbuilt formulas in Excel. That means they are inside Excel. They came with Excel. They are inbuilt formulas. That means they are in Excel. And we have examples like sum, we have VLOOKUP, we have index, we have text, we have date if, we have so many. We have a lot of it. So we are going to be doing some of it today. Although we cannot finish everything today, but at least we are going to cover a reasonable ground. So let's start with the formulas. Let's start with the formulas. Now, looking at this our Excel, for example, if you want, you can do some arithmetic equations like this, like 30 and 20. So if you want to add these two together, you can come here and say equals to this particular cell plus this particular cell. Click your enter, then you have your solution. So what I am trying, like I said in our last class, I said each cell is a representative, is a representative of what they carry. So in this particular cell now, if you want to do it, you don't need to write it like this, like 30 plus 20. You don't need to write it like this. To Excel, if you press enter, this is just a data that you just entered. To Excel, it has no meaning to Excel. And even if you put your equal sign, if you put your equal sign in this, and you got the answer, if you put your equal sign and you got the answer, do you imagine you have numerous rows and you want to calculate, you want to do some calculations on it, you won't be doing it one by one by writing it out. Instead of that, you click on the cell that is carrying that particular value and the other cell that you want to add together. That is how to do it. Now let me show you something about name range. Let us have some set of numbers here. I'm just writing a random number. So now we've given this one a name. We call it data 1. So let's give this column 2 a name. Let's call it data 2. Let's call it data 2. Now I want to calculate this column and this column. So imagine I have like 1 million column and I want to calculate them together. I want to perform some formulas on it. You don't expect me to be writing it, to be clicking it like this, like, okay, you don't expect me to be doing it like the equals to this plus this. You don't expect me to be doing it like this. You don't expect me to be doing it like this. There are two ways to solve this problem. I'm going to show us two ways to solve this problem easily without stressing ourselves. Now, the first thing you can do is using our fill handle. When you want to use your fill handle, just do like the first two. Do the first two two rows. Solve the first two rows, then you use your fill handle, drag it down, Excel will understand that, oh, you are calculating this row plus this row. So that is what Excel will have discovered, the pattern that is going on. Now, if I want to use my Finland, I've done up the row 1, row 2 equals to this plus this. So instead of me to now be doing it, I can use my Finland, highlight the first two I have done, then use my Finland and drag it down. Excel will automatically pick the pattern that is working, and it will do the remaining calculation. It will solve the calculation by itself, because Excel will believe that, okay, there is something going on under this, there is a pattern that is going on under this formula, and Excel will fill it up for you. This is one way to do it. Now let me show you another way to do it that is much easier to the first one. The moment you save you give name to your data set, the moment you give name to your data set, either in rows or in column, Excel will save it for you automatically. So let us see what will happen here. Equals to data. You see, the name we have given to it appears, because the moment you write the first thing that you know about that name, is going to show it to you. You just use your tab key to bring it up. Use your tab key to bring it up. That the moment you click your tab key, is going to highlight it. Data 1. Can you see it now? It highlighted everything. Data 1 plus data. Go to your data 2, use your tab key, look at it now, data 2, and click enter. So which one will you prefer to use, formula 1 or formula 2? If you prefer formula 1, write formula 1 in the chat box. If you prefer formula 2, write formula 2 in the chat box. So if you don't understand, let me know. Just unmute yourself and talk. If you don't understand, if you want me to come to explain it again, let me know.
Yes, explain it again, please. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, 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 okay. Let me just explain it again. So now, like I said, for us to give, there are two ways to do some calculations in Excel. I can always calculate 10 plus 39 to give me the solution. Like I said in the last class, for you to initiate a particular calculation, formula, function in Excel, you start with equal sign. So the moment you put equal sign, Excel will understand that you are about to carry out some arithmetic aggregation or anything that is out of you just entering data. You understand me now? So when you say equals to, you click the cell that is carrying the value you want to add up. You click the cell. Instead of writing it, you click the cell that is carrying the value. Click it. The moment you click it, it's going to highlight it and bring out the name on the formula, on where you want the calculation to be. Then plus, click the other cell and hit enter. The moment you press enter, it's going to bring solution to you. But I now said, in case you are working with a very long row and you want to do calculations on them, you are not expected to be doing it one by one. You do number 1, you did number 2. You are not expected to do it like that. It's going to take a long time. So for you to do this, there are two ways to it. There are two ways to do this. You can use your fill and do, then you can use your name range. Like I said, that's one of the purpose of name range. Name range will help your calculations to be easier and some other things. Now, for us to use our Finlando, you first of all do like the first two or first two rows or the first three. You solve the first two or four or the first three so that Excel can understand that there is a pattern. Now, let's do that for this one. Equals to this plus this. Hit enter. Do number 2 equals to this plus this. hit enter. So you now highlight the first two you did. Highlight it, highlight the first two you did. Then use your fill handle. If you still remember the fill handle, we did fill handle in this class. So use your fill handle, right click on, do press your right click and drag it down, and automatically it will solve it for you. That means Excel understood that there is a pattern going on, and the pattern is that you have everything on column A, you're adding it with everything on column B, and it's going to solve it for you. Another way to do this also is using your name range. You can press equals to the name you gave to this column plus the name you gave to this column. That is, I gave data 1. It's going to bring it up. Use your tab key to press your tab key, and it's going to bring it up for you. Plus data 2, data 2, click on it, use your tab key to bring it up. The moment you are bringing up the name, you will see that it's highlighting it for you. So if you click enter, it's going to do everything. So instead of you doing it one by one, he understands that the data, the name range, you use the name range to do the calculation. So any other questions so far, so that we can move on? I've taught us how to give a name. How did you? I taught us how to give a name to a cell or a range. I taught us when we were doing name box, or changing name for a particular cell. You highlight it and you come to your name box here and change what is there to a name that you want it to be. That is how to give a name. And you can give a name to a role, a whole data set, or it all depends on what you want to give a name to. So let's move on. So you can even do subtraction. You can do subtraction. You can do subtraction. It's not a must that you do. For example, if I want to do subtraction, I can say data 2, because I discovered that the values in data in column B is more than the values in column A. So I can say data 2 minus data 1. So if I hit enter, it's still going to solve it. So you can do subtraction, you can even do division. So there you can do multiplication. There is nothing you cannot do with that. And you can still use your fill handle. If you don't want to use your name range, you can use your fill handle. It all depends on which one you are willing to use. So that's all about formulas. Now we are going to be moving to functions. Now, like I said, functions are predefined or inbuilt formulas in Excel. Now let's start with sum. Let's start with sum. SUM, sum. So many people prefer formula 2. Yes, that's one of the beautiful. That's one beautiful things about name range. So you can use it. Now let's move on. Now I want to tell us. Then those of you that prefer um formula 2, I want to show you something again. Maybe you now prefer this formula 3 to both to formula 1 and 2. I want to show you something beautiful again that you can do in Excel. So we call it sum. We call it sum. So equals to, now this is a function, not a formula, because it is inbuilt. It is inbuilt inside the Excel package. It is inbuilt inside the Excel package. So equals to, you write sum, SUM. You see, the moment you are typing it, so many inbuilt will come up. You will see more Excel inbuilt that you have there that you can use. Now we are going to use sum. Sum is asking you which number do you want to sum up. That's why it's asking you number 1. Which number do you want to sum up? That's why Excel will ask you number 1, comma number 2. So as many numbers you want to sum up. And if you are not using numbers, if you have a name range, maybe you have given your columns name, you just put the name of those columns on the numbers. Coming. So you have the sum and is asking you, sorry, I'm coming. So it's showing number one or number two. Which one do you want to enter? So if you have numbers, you click on the numbers, the cell that is carrying the value of that number. Can you hear me very well? Please give me thumbs up if you can hear me very well. Can you hear me? Okay, good. So you for number one, you click the value. You can click the value. Like now, I am clicking a value, comma, click another value, comma. If you want more, you can click another value, comma, click another value, comma, click another value, comma, or once you are done with all the value, you just close your brackets and click enter, and it's going to add it up for you. It's going to add it up for you. So I've been able to calculate all these rows now without adding plus, 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 plus. You just use the inbuilt. See the formula now. I have been able to sum each of these cells together without adding plus to it. Without doing D1 plus E1 plus, I'm not doing plus. I'm just using sum. So the command sum is telling that is Excel understood that okay, I want to add up all these numbers together. So let me show it to us now. Again, equals to sum. Now I want to add our name range. Data one, comma, data two. Then I'll close my bracket and hit enter. This is now, do you know what it did? It sum up everything in this data one and sum up everything in this data two and add it all together. Do you understand me now? It summed it up and add it all together. But in a case where you want to do everything one after the other, one after the other, one after the other, that you don't want to do everything like this, then you highlight it. You highlight it. Just like this equals to sum. Like I want to do this, comma, do this, comma, do this, comma, do this, comma, and do this, comma, close my brackets, hit enter. Then I will now use my fill handle to drag it down. Excel understood I want to do some calculation and is going to do it exactly the way I want it. Excel understood that there is calculation going on here and is going to do it for me. So which one do we prefer now? Formula one, two, or three? If it is formula three, just write it and say formula three. If it is formula one or two, let me see it. Just write it and say formula one, formula two, or formula three. Which one do you prefer? And if you have any question, just let me know before we move on. Any question so far? Okay, formula three, okay. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Okay, that means we are good. I love that. Okay, that's good. So that's about sum. Also, we can do what is called counts. Okay, Abayomi says they also have their own. Okay, they all have their own function. That's good. So we move to what we call count. We move to what we call count. Now, if you we count the number of cells in a range that contains number of cells in a range that contains number. That is what count does. It will help you to count every cell that has value. It will count every cell that has value. So if there is a cell that has no value, count will not count it. Every cell that has value. Now we have value 1. Maybe you want to count the number of cells. I want to count the number of cells in data 1. In data 1, and I'll close my bracket and hit enter. So it's telling me that the number of cells is 10. The number of cells is 10. Imagine I come here and I delete one cell and I say you should count it. Look at it, automatically it changes to what? 9. That is to tell us that it's telling me that there is now an empty cell. There is now an empty cell. So it's going to count the cells that has value. That is what, in case you are working with your data set and in case you are working with your data set and you want to check for missing values, you can use this command. You just highlight everything and give it a name. For example, I can do something like this. When you're talking about name range, I can give all this range a name. I can call it table 1. And please note one thing: when you are giving a name range, do not use space. When you are giving a name range, do not use space. You can use underscore, you can use dashboard. Unable to see my screen, please check your network, Abayomi. How many people? I believe my screen is visible. So like I said, when you are working with a name range, do not use space. Do not use space to give your range a name, to give your to name your range. Do not use space. So now we have given these old numbers, we have given it table 1. Now if I should come here and say it should count, if I say it should count, it should not count data now, count table 1. It should count table 1 and I hit enter. Oh, sorry, didn't give it a name. Table 1. Okay. Now see, now it's telling me that the number of values in table 1 is 60. So if I should come to this place, if I should come like this and delete all the numbers there. If I should highlight this row now and remove the numbers there, you see it has reduced the values. It has reduced the value to 54. So it's telling me that there are like 4 empty cells there. So that is to tell you that is what count does. Count the number of values that, then the number of cells that has value. The number of cells that has value. So that is about count. Then we have what we call count R. Count R. Count R. That is writing count and putting a count R. Count R. Count R counts the number of cells in a range that are not empty. So the same thing like count, it also that is what count R does also. It counts the number of cells in a range that are not empty, just like our counter. Just like our counter. So if we do count table 1, close it and hit enter. So it's going to do the same thing. So in case you are working, if it is counter that you remember and you do not remember count, or if it is count that you remember, so it does the same thing. It does the same thing. So we are going to move. We have what we count. uh, count blank. Yes, count blank. We have count blank. We have count blank. We have count blank. So count blank counts the number of empty cells in a specified range of cells. The empty cells. Now if you have this, is going to ask you what's the range. So you are going to tell it we want to count blank in table 1. Now it's telling us that it is 0. That means there are no empty cells in this range, table range. But if I should remove some and I make it empty, you see, it's telling me that there are like we have 6 empty cells, and if you count it, you will have 6. So it's telling us that there are six empty cells. That's exactly what count blanks. So when you see count blanks, that is what it does. Now we have count if. Count if. But before I move to the count if, we have what we call maximum and minimum. We have maximum and minimum. Maximum and minimum equals to max. It's going to return the largest value in a set of values. Ignore logical values and text. So maximum is going to give you the highest number. So if I wanted to give me the highest number in table 1, so it's going to give me, and it's telling me is that it's 1000. The same thing applicable to minimum. These are normal functions that comes with Excel. These are the inbuilt functions that comes with Excel. These are the inbuilt function that comes with Excel. It's going to tell us the maximum and the minimum value in a table range. So any questions so far? Any questions so far so that we can continue? Okay. In the absence of none. So let's move on. Now, we move to the reason why I said we should stop on count if is because I want us to start with if condition. If condition. There is one thing we call if condition in Excel. So, is a function in Excel. If is a function in Excel that helps you determine the contents of a cell based on a given criteria. So it is a function that's in Excel that helps you to determine the content. That means you will give it a criteria that it must follow. For example, you want to say, okay, maybe you want something. You now said, okay, you give me this thing if it has this. So that's exactly what if condition is about. And maybe you are working with a lot of data sets and you want to bring out some things there. Maybe you are working with names, the name of staff on in your organization, and you have lots of names, and you want people that bears Juliet. So you can tell Excel that, okay, look at the table name and give me every name that has Juliet. You can use Excel for that. You can use Excel for that. So if the criteria that you have defined is true, a value is returned. You set the value. You set the value. And if the criteria you define is false, you also get another value which you have set in the formula. So what it starts to tell you that if you say, okay, give me all the names that everyone that bears Juliet. If they have Juliet, Juliet should come. If we don't have Juliet, tell me no, not available. So everywhere you have Juliet is going to give you Juliet, and everywhere there is no Juliet, then it's going to give you not available. It's going to give you not available. So if you have more than one criteria, then you use nested if or ifs. But these ifs can only be seen from Excel 2019 upward. So that's why I said you need to upgrade your Excel, because some of the things that we are going to be using here, you may not see it on your Excel. Now, if you click on the if condition, there are three things that will come out on if condition table and column. It's going to ask you logical text. That is what you want to state. What I want is Juliet. That is it. That is what it's telling you. State your criteria. I want the name Juliet. Now, what value if true? If the name, now you are going to tell it that if the value, if you everywhere you find Juliet, give me Juliet. Everywhere you there is no Juliet, give me not available. That is value if false. So it's going to ask you value if true. What should I bring if true? The value you want Excel to return for you if the criteria you stated above is true. And value if false, the value you want Excel to return for you if the criteria you stated above is false. That is exactly what Excel is telling us. So I'm going to show us what I am trying to. I'm coming. Just give me few seconds. I want to show us something that will help us with this. Okay, sorry for that short delay. I want to unshare this one to share something that we are going to be using for this class. I want to share. Okay, this is what we are going to be using. There is a data set I have here for us, and we are going to be using for this if condition. Okay, this is the data set we are going to be using. It's like some people are really struggling with network this afternoon. Okay, this is if condition. Now we want to use if condition here. Now this is a test, and these are the applicants now. And in this our test, we want those who score like 50 should be a pass mark. We want those who score 50 should be pass mark. See, this is the test score. These are the test score. This is recruitment test results for recruiting people. So we want to show that, okay, maybe you have a very long list like this, and as an HR person, you want to show that, okay, you want to see those who score 50, and you want all those people that score 50 to have to say pass, and anyone below 50 should be fail. What you can do is come to where you want to write it and write equal sign. I told you everything, either function formula starts with equals to, equals if now if is asking you what's the logical test. The logical test is the score, the first score. the false score. If that score is equals to 50, equals 50. If or is sorry, let me use is greater than 50, because anywhere that is not equals to 50 is going to tell us that is not correct. Greater than 49, because we want 50 to be among the we want 50 to be part of the numbers. So anywhere it sees the score that is greater than 59, comma, it's asking you what value if true, what should I bring when it is true. Now Excel does not understand text like that, when especially when you are using it in formulas and functions. It understands numbers. So anywhere you want to use pass, anyone that's called above should be pass. Value if true should be pass. And value if false should be fail. That means the person fails. Close your bracket and hit enter. Now, if you use your fill handle to drag it down, if you use your fill handle to drag it down, it's going to give us the results. Now, if you look through this data set, look at it now. Everyone that scores above 50 will give you pass. Everyone that scores above 50 will give you pass. 50 and above. 49 is fail, 37 is fail, 35 is fail, 81 is. So this is exactly what if condition can do for us. And you can use this to run your job as you're working. You understand me now? So, oh, okay. I should explain it again. Okay. Let me explain it again. Now, let me explain that again. Like I said, that if condition, if we bring what criteria you are, any condition you give to it, if we bring back the results to you, and if that condition is not being met, if we tell you that any condition that you give it to it, also it's going to give it to you. So if you are using if equals to if is asking you what, the first thing is the logical test. What do you want to, what criteria do you want to put down? And the criteria I want to put down here is that for those who, for all the applicants that wrote the test, if they score anything from 50 above, anything from 50 above, they should, it should return to us and say they pass. And anything below 50 should be fail. That's what I want here. That's the condition I want Excel to meet here. And how will I do that? I'm using my if condition to guide it now. And I'm saying if this particular score, click on the first score, click on the first score, and said if this particular score is greater than, you can use greater or equals to 50, but I'm using greater than 49 because I want 50 to be recorded as pass mark. I'm using greater than 49 because I want 50 to be recorded as pass mark. So I'm saying if the score is greater than 49, comma, it's now asking me value if true. What should I show if this condition is true? So I'm telling Excel that if this condition is true, give me pass. But you cannot write words in functions when you are writing function without putting quotation mark. You must put quotation mark for Excel to be able to interpret it. You put quotation mark, double quotation mark, please, double quotation mark. Then I write pass and I close the quotation mark, comma, and it's asking me value if false. What value should I bring in case this condition is not met? That means in case we have people that score below 50, what should I bring? Tell them fail. put it also in quotation mark, put it in quotation mark, fail, close your quotation mark, then close the bracket, hit enter. Then use your fill handle to drag it down and it's going to fill up the rest. Simple. So in case you have anything, looking at it now, you've been able to see that if I should change this score of this person to 50, see, that's changed it to pass. So that is exactly what I am talking about. So any question now so far? Okay, give me thumbs up if you understand. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So that means we are together in this class. So no question. Oh, don't worry. I can put the formula in the chats. Don't worry. I can put the formula in the chats for people to use it. Then let me drop the formula in the chats. So that's the formula. You can copy it from the charts. That's the formula. But know that the name of your own cell may not be C7 like my own. So you can. So can we continue now? We have a lot to do. Okay, let's move on. That's about if condition. Now we have and. We have what we call and, 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 and. So we have if, then we have and. And is a function in Excel that requires more than one condition at the same time. If all conditions stated are met, then it returns true. If not, it returns false, and it can be combined with the if function. Now, when you are talking about and does not, when you are talking about if now, if was dealing with just a single condition, but and we deal with two conditions, but these two conditions must be met. That means the two conditions must be fulfilled. In a situation whereby the second condition is not correct, it's going to tell you false. Do you understand me now? So let me show you exactly what I am talking about. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. And now, when you are talking about, this is an example. This is a speaking exam. So many of us knows IELTS, Sabi. So many of us knows IELTS. So many of us knows IELTS. That's the English writing exam for traveling, I guess. So, for example, now we have students that wrote listening, both in speaking and in listening, are the one that pass the exam. Those that score 50 and above, 50 and above, both in speaking and in listening, those are the ones that pass the exam. So anyone that scores below that, either from one or the other, that is fail. That is fail. So now let's follow me as I'll do this one, just like we did this if now. Equals to and. Now this one is and is asking you logical one. Now the logical one is click on that listening, click on that listening, click on that first number in listening. The logical one is that if this score is greater than 49, If that score is greater than 49, comma, and the speaking score also is greater than 49, that is the, don't worry about writing value if true or value if false. One thing about and you don't need, and as the default, and by default is going to tell you true or false. That's one thing about and. Unlike if, that you have to define the criteria. In using and does not need to define the criteria, and is just going to tell you, is going to
It's
bring
going
it
to
by
bring
default, true or false. So, true or false, that's it by default. So now I'm telling you that and should look at listening anywhere you see the score that is greater than 49, and it should look at speaking anywhere it sees the score greater than 49. If you click enter now, and I will use my fill handle to drag it down. Now look at it. The first person, William scored 96, 93 in listening, 62 in speaking. It tells us it is true. Now let us look at Avery. Avery scored 41 in listening and scored 99 in speaking. It's telling us false. The reason why he's telling us false is that, who can tell me? Now let me ask you, who can tell me the reason why he's telling us that Avery and Evelyn is false? Or mute yourself and tell me. Who can tell
Hello,
us why is it telling
can
us
you
that
hear me?
it is false? Okay, Yusuf,
Can All right, good evening, ma.
good
I
evening.
think the reason why it's telling us that it is false is because what you entered to the instruction you give to it is when they pass the two, it should give you a
Yes,
true answer. One of them failed.
yes.
I mean, one she failed one of the courses, so it is going to be false. Automatically, she did not pass.
Oh, thank you. See, sweat cook or your WhatsApp. Just drop your number. So, like I said, now you can see because one criteria was not met. So it's giving it to us as false. So one thing about and is that the all the criteria you stated must be available. That is one thing about and. You understand me now? So if you get it, just give me thumbs up. Give me thumbs up if you get it. Or any question. If you have question, let me know. If you have question, let me know. Any question? Okay. Let's move on in the absence of now we are moving to or. Now or is just the opposite of and. Or is the opposite of and. Or is a function. Oh, our break time. Oh, sorry. We have used our break time. Okay, let's go for break for 10 minutes. Okay, those don't worry about the formula. Let me just use you've dropped your WhatsApp number. Okay, don't worry, sweat cook on your WhatsApp. Let me drop the formula for that on the same way I did the other one. Let me drop it. Let me copy it and put it. Let me put it on the formula on the chat page. So you can copy the formula like that. So let's go for 10 minutes break because so this is just we come back in 8:46. So let's use this minute to stretch our legs and then come back. Let's try and stretch our legs and then come back. Let's stretch our legs, come back in 10 minutes time. Welcome back. Are we back? Please let me know if you are back. You can chat and say hi if you are back. See your chat on the chat room saying hi if you are back. Okay. Okay, welcome back. Now, where we are in all. So we are going to be working on all now. All is the opposite, like I said, is the opposite of and. All is a function in Excel that tests different criteria at the same time. Also, if one of the conditions stated is in an or function is met, then it returns true. If no condition was met, it returns false. It can also be combined with if function, just like our beautiful and that we must meet the two conditions. In the case of or, now in the case of or, we don't need to meet the two conditions. We just need to meet one condition. As long as one of the condition is met, it's going to return true. Now, if none of the condition is met, then it's going to return false. Just also like or, it's by default. You don't need to write the value if true or value if false. Now, looking at this now, this is also the listening test, the other, like just the other one, and the pass mark is 50. Now, we want to say, or using or, when one is 50, let's see what will happen. And I will ask us question. Please listen attentively. Equals to or, now, or, I like the first score. If this score, I like this score greater than 49, comma, and this score is greater than 49, close brackets, hit enter. I will use my fill handles to drag it down. Now look at this case now. Unlike the case of Avery and Evelyn, in the case of Avery and Evelyn here, Avery score 49 in listening, Evelyn score 42, but score 99 in speaking and 98 in speaking, and they had false. But come and look at the case in here. Now, in this case, average score 40 or 41, but score 99, it brings true. Who can tell me the difference there? Who can tell me what you've noticed there? If you want to answer my question, please unmute yourself and tell me. You can unmute yourself if you want to answer my question.
Yeah, good evening. Because one of the
Good
criteria
evening.
is available and it's met based on the fact that we stated that we
Okay,
said it's either or. So you should check if any of them.
okay. So thank you very much. That's very correct. And you will notice that Adamu, we have false because none of the criteria is met. See, Dick, do you want to say something? You can unmute yourself.
Yeah, I wanted to say the same thing that the candidate must at least have more than 50 in either of the two entities, either from the listening or the speaking.
Yes, exactly. Either from the listening or the speaking. So once one of the criteria is met, so it's going to give it to us as true. So can we now see the difference between if, or, and? So because one thing about it is that you can combine the two together and you can do so many things. And we are going to be doing some things as the time goes on. So let's move on. Let's move on. So we are going to be moving to what we call ifs. Ifs, yes. Now, when we have more than one criteria, that is ifs. When we have more than one criteria to take care of, that is where we have ifs. Now, look at, now we can use some with if. You can use some with if. I want you to look at this table very well. Look at this table very well. This is a data set that is talking about months, and we have like how many months here? We have like 3 months in this data set. We have like 3 months. We have October, November, and then December. So we can use if statements to do calculation. We can use if statement to do calculation. We can use if statement to do calculation. So that is exactly what we are going to be doing now. Now, we want to use sum if, and that is where we are going to be rounding up for tonight. Now, we want to use sum if. Now, we want to sum all the commission for the month of October. We want to sum all the commission for the month of November. We want to sum up the commission from the month of December. Now, I want to ask a question. If I don't want to use sum if and I use sum, if I use sum, what will happen? The last bottom of sorry, if you are just entering, just mute yourself. If you are just entering, mute yourself. Now, I want to ask you a question. If I use some for this situation, what will happen? Who is answering my question? If I use some, I don't use some if. I use some. So what will happen?
Let me give it a try.
Okay,
If you did not use sum if
okay.
and you use sum, it will sum everything for the whole month.
Oh, thank you. For the whole month or for the whole data set.
For the whole data set.
Thank you, Ibrahim. It's going to sum all the commission for the whole data set. It's
Yes,
not going to leave. Okay.
but if you use sum if, you now give the October as the criteria, it will sum all the commission for October for the whole data set.
Yes, exactly. Oh, you are with me. You are with me.
Yes.
So that is exactly what will happen. It's going to sum it. Now we want to sum month by month. We don't want to sum everything together. We want to sum month by month, but we are going to give a condition. So exactly, you want to do some calculations on your very large data set. You just want to pick some things. You just want to do some little things there. You don't want to work with everything. These are the things you can do. Conditions, if conditions are one of the things that can help you. And now we are going to be using this sum if. We are going to be using this sum if. I'm going to do one. I'm going to do for the commission. Then you will tell me what I will do for the premium. Just follow me as I go through it. Now, sum if equals to, don't forget, click on that place, equals to, so equals to, I want to say sum if. He's now asking me, what did I want to sum? Range. Now, whenever you hear the word range in your Excel function or your Excel calculation, range or array, when you hear range or array, is either talking about the whole column or the whole table. Listen, when you hear the word range or array, is either talking about the whole column or the whole table. That means the whole table of your data set or just the particular column that you want to work with. Now, it's asking me the range, and what do I want to do here? I want to work on the October months. I want to work on the October months. So October month is going to, the range that I'm looking for is the October months. I'm going to click on my October month. Sorry, I'm coming. Just give me a few seconds. Just give me a few seconds, please. Okay, can you see my screen now? Sorry about that. Can you see my screen now? If you can see my screen, please let me know if you can see my screen. Give me thumbs up. Thank you. Okay, now, so like I said, we want to sum this months range. Now, this is where the power of name range will help us. I will show you two steps to this. I will show you two steps to this, and you will see why we need name range sometimes. Now, let me show you two steps to this, and you see why we need name range sometimes. Now, we are going to use sum if for condition equals to sum if. Now, what sum if is going to add the cell specified by a given condition or criteria. That is what sum if does. It's going to add the cells you specify by a given condition or criteria, just like our if. So just like our if, it's going to sum it based on the condition you are giving to it. Now, sum if is asking us the range. Like I said, when you hear the word range, is asking you either the column or the table. Now we are dealing with the column because we want the column. And when he is asking you the range, he's asking you the range where your criteria is coming from. And our criteria here is that we want to sum up the commission for the month of October. So our range is the month table column. Our range is the month column. The criteria is talking about where the range, the things you want to do, you want to work about. We want to calculate the commission for months. So our range is coming from the month column. So the first step is to highlight, when you are talking, you highlight all that, you highlight the whole column that carries months. You highlight the whole column that carries months. Take notes, you must not highlight the header. You must not highlight the header. The header has nothing to do with the data. We need the data, not the header. Now, once you highlight the range, comma, is asking us criteria. What is the criteria? The criteria is the month of October. That means you are telling Excel, look into this particular column. Everywhere you see October, everywhere you see October, that is what we want to deal with. So click on it. Click on that cells that is carrying the name October. Click on the cell that is carrying the name of October, comma. Now sum range is asking you, what do you want to sum? Of course, you know that when you want to sum something, it should be numerical. Anything you want to sum must be numerical. So the same thing you can do, you can highlight that month, all the commission, highlight the commission, highlight all the commission, highlight all the commission, close your bracket and hit enter. Then it's going to give it to you. Now it's telling us this is the commission for the month of October. This is the commission for the month of October. Now I can do it in another way. Now this is the power of name range. Now I can do this. So I can give each column name. Now I can give this one months. I can give this one month, and commission. I can give it commission. Make sure you don't highlight the header. Make sure you don't highlight the header. Give it commission, hit enter, and even the premium. Control shift down arrow, just use that to highlight everything. Make sure you click on the first value. Premium, hit enter. Now I have given each of these column names. Now let me show you how I will now do it. Equals to, don't forget, sum if, the first thing is the range, and the range is the month. The range is the month that is fulfilling the criteria. The range is the month that is fulfilling the criteria, which is our month range, our month column, sorry. I'll click the months. The moment I click that I put that name, the moment I put that name, you can see it highlighted that column by itself. Comma. Criteria, click on this criteria, click on this cell, that has the criteria, which is the month of October, and our sum range is commission. Our sum range is commission. The moment I wrote the name, it's highlighted that column, close it and hit enter. It's still going to give us the name, same thing. That is the power of name range. That is the power of name range. That is the power of name range. So if you have any question from this one now, let me know. Let me know. If you have any question. Question. Okay, let me do for the month of November. November is equals to sum if the range is the months, the column that has the months, the criteria is that month that we want to work on, and the commission that we want to sum for. We want to sum from the commission. Then we are going to close the brackets, hit enter. So the same thing applicable to December. Sum if months, December, and the sum is commission. We want all the commission in the month of December. We close our brackets and hit enter. So instead of us doing this thing one after the other, maybe you now calculate, bring out your pen and begin to write all the values in the month of October, wrote the values in the month of November, wrote the values in the month of, that's long thing. Now we'll be able to use this shortcut to be able to derive this now. So any questions so far, please? This is where we
Yes,
are
ma.
going to be stopping. Okay, ask your question.
Sorry, ma. I want to ask that why can't we just use sum, then we enter what we want to? Why are we including the if? Because I can recollect that the other time we used only sum and it worked.
Okay, now if I want to use sum for this now, if you use sum for this, it's going to calculate for October, November, and December. And we don't want it to calculate for all the months. We just want to calculate for the month of October. Do you understand what I just said now?
Yes, ma.
So imagine it's because you are seeing this data now, they arrange the month of October very well, Abi, and they arrange the month of November. But imagine if they are not well arranged. October, they all scattered, entered each other, everything is scattered. You understand me now? You can't even pinpoint the number of Octobers that are inside the data set. So are you telling me that everywhere you see October, you want to go and highlight it? No. And the only condition that some understand is that you're going to add everything together. But if we are giving it a condition that, okay, I don't want you to sum all the things inside this data. All I want is that sum those that are for October, sum the one for November, sum the one for December. Do you get it now?
Yes, ma. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question? Any other question? So you are clear with this class, oh, thank you. Thank you. So this is where we are going to stop today's class. So I will try and finish up as much as possible on Tuesday. So we'll finish up on as much as possible. I will try and rush it so that we can move to Tuesday, managing and sorting data. So we can move to that one. And that's when we are going to be doing more of data cleaning, how to clean your data sets. When you come across your data set, you don't just jump on it and begin to work. You have to clean it. So we are going to be doing a little of data cleaning on our next class. So, but before we do that, I will try and finish up with this one. I'll try and finish up with this one so that we can move on. So, in the absence of no question, so I wish you all good nights. Have a lovely. Okay, somebody, please, can you share with us the data? This data. The problem is, Ibrahim. See the last one. Oh, sorry. The last data set I shared, you people did not do it. Only 3 people said they did it. So it's not encouraging to share data sets when I know some people will not even go, will not visit it. Some people will not visit it. The one I share now, Like only 3 people said they, see, 3 or 4. Thank you. Only 3 or 4 people said they visited it. So I don't know. I'll try and be encouraged. I don't know. If I'm not too go and check your telegram. It's there. Go and check your telegram. I dropped it there. Okay, I will try. I will try. I'm not promising you, but I will try and share it. I'll try and share it. Okay, oh, don't worry. So I'll try and share it maybe tomorrow. I'll try and share it. So let's see. Okay. Have a wonderful night rest. Good night, everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So do have a wonderful night. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Good night. So good night, Olamide. Good night. Good night, everyone. Thank you for your time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Abayomi. Good night. You too. Good night, everyone. Good night, Aminat. Good night. Good night. Good night.